Ladies and gentlemen, our Grand Marshal this year could not embody and represent who we are as a community any better. He's incredibly smart. He's an incredible leader of industry. But most of all, he is a warm and loving husband and father. And he is so proud and grateful for the path and the life that he has and the man that he is. Please take a look at our 2016 Grand Marshal of the Columbus Day Parade, our dear friend, Robert LaPenta.
My grandparents were first-generation Italians. They came from Rome and Naples. They bought a house in Yonkers, and my whole family lived there. My cousin, my aunts, my uncles, myself, my brother, sister, my parents, and my grandparents lived on the third floor. We had a backyard, we had a garden, and you know, every Sunday it was the family together, you know, with the Italian meal and the pasta and the sausage. My father was a general manager in a warehouse, and he never made more than $25 a week. And my mother was the smartest CFO I ever knew in my life. She took that $25 and we had clothes, we had toys, we had the best food, and then she had $4 or $5 left and she invested in the stock market.
Maybe that's where Bob gets his feel for business. After graduating from Iona College, he went on to create several multi-million-dollar companies in the aerospace, defense, and electronics industries.
In my whole life, I've been interested in things that protect our country. And to be part of it and to participate and contribute to it is something that I really take a lot of pride in.
Bob's career is really a remarkable story of someone who has done well, but has also done good.
Bob knows that success and education go hand in hand, so he's given generously to his alma mater.
So I created a student union where all of the students at Iona, 3,000, can go, and they have study halls and they have video and computers. And now I'm contributing to building a new business school. And to have me be part of that and my family be part of that, it's amazing.
Bob's not all business. His other passion? Thoroughbred racing. And he always manages to find time for family and fun.
This past summer, we had the trip of a lifetime. We had an opportunity to go to a private concert in Tuscany for Andrea Bocelli. After the concert, we went to his home, and we spent the evening with his family. It was the most amazing thing.
And now, one more amazing thing, being Grand Marshal of the Columbus Day Parade.
It's a great day for Italian Americans, it's a great day for New York, and it's a great day for the LaPenta family. My parents are going to be looking from above.
Wow. That was unbelievable. I'm going to get a copy of that and put it in a time capsule for the LaPenta family. That was really great. You know, before I start, I'd like to acknowledge and congratulate my co-honorees tonight. I'm really proud to be part of this threesome that's made this such a great evening. It's really, really been great. You know, it's 10 to 11. I mean, there are, you know, pluses and minuses to everything in life. You know, starting at 10 to 11 after we had great entertainment, everybody's been drinking wine and coffee and dessert. I mean, I don't think you want to hear me speak for more than, would you say 9 or 10 minutes? So, Lori, set your cell phone, and when I go past 10 minutes, let me know so I can stop. You know, this is a great photo. You know, over the past month and a half, we've taken a lot of videos. We had ABC come and they produced that video. I went out, I was in the hallway tonight, 3 or 4 people came up to me and they all said, wow, you look so much better in person than you do in photos. You know, I've always said that. Nobody ever really agreed with me, but I'm never going to take another photo for the rest of my life. I'm done. This photo's a good one. You know, we had a great night a couple of nights ago at Lydia's and Mario Batali's New Italy in the World Trade Center. And not only was it a great night, and Mario Cuomo was, I'm sorry, Andrew Cuomo was there, and we had a great kickoff to the Columbus Day, celebration. And, when you're at 9/11, you can't help thinking what happened there really 15 years ago. It just, it changed all of our lives. And to have Mario and Lydia, open such a great establishment, breathe new life into the World Trade Center, I really give them a tremendous amount of credit. We had a great dinner that night. And, somebody from the Columbus Citizens Foundation came up and said, Bob, you're the first Grand Marshal that I didn't have to do a lot of touch-up work to, and that's my photo. I don't think he told me the truth. I think he did a lot of work. But, the greatest thing about tonight, I must have, business associates, family, friends, 60, 80 people here. And when do you get an opportunity to bring that many people together for a great, great celebration? And really, it's touching. I'm so happy. I have a lot of friends here tonight. Some of them I've known for over 50 years. My racing manager and great friend, Ernie Richard, and his wife. My hair looks great there, right? I have a barber, Carmine Pisacrit, who's from Avellino, Italy. He's been cutting my hair for 55 years. He gave me my crew cut. When I went into the Navy. Carmine and his wife, Alba. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he's been here for 55 years. He still cannot speak good English. It's unbelievable. I have another another Iona graduate here, Bill Michaels, and his wife, Gloria. They run the marina where I keep my boat. If it wasn't, and he's an Iona graduate, great guy. I know him for 40 years. If it wasn't for Bill, I'd have a lot more money in my pocket. So in fact, I named a horse after him called Wild Billum. But this is a great night. And, thank you, Maria Bartiromo, an internationally phenomenal, business journalist, and the dedication and effort she puts into this Columbus Citizens Foundation is just amazing. Thank you so much, Maria. And thanks for giving me that great introduction. And, I lost a lot of sleep this week because, I don't use any notes when I speak. When I have notes, I get confused and I get all screwed up. But I was praying that somebody would talk about all of the great prior Grand Marshals we have in the room tonight, because there's no way I would remember all of their names. Thank you so much, Maria. Angelo Vivolo, you helped me too, because you summarized my life. And, when I don't have a lot of notes and I had a couple of glasses of wine, I leave a lot of stuff out. But anyway, I appreciate it. And all of the effort, I got to tell you, they work for a year to put this celebration together. And they don't get enough credit. So we ought to give everybody in connection with the Columbus a big hand. I can't believe I'm here tonight as the Grand Marshal. I was a co-honoree back in 2011. And, Angelo called me and he said, Bob, the foundation is thinking of making you the Grand Marshal. And I was taken back and I was surprised. And, I thought about the Grand Marshals. I mean, Joe DiMaggio, Rudy Giuliani, Chief Justice Scalia, unfortunately, who passed away this past year, Frank Sinatra. I said, how does Bob LaPenta fit in on that list? I mean, that's crazy. And I said, I'll get back to you in a week. So the first week, I said, I'm absolutely not doing it. The second week, I said, I don't know, it'd be a great thing for my family to have a LaPenta name on that list. It's unbelievable. And the third week, I thought about it again, and I said, if you look at the list, just about everybody on there has a lot of things in common. They were first or second generation Italian Americans. They were lower to middle class, they grew up in lower to middle class families. They were either the first or second person in their family to go to college. And they all worked hard, and they took chances, and they were dedicated, and they exceeded in their respective fields. So I said to myself, I may not have checked all of the boxes, but I checked a number of them. So I called Angelo, and I said, I'll do it. A lot of work, but I'm really so proud and excited about this. So listen, I was an honoree in 2011. I don't know how many people were here then. They tell me to talk about my childhood and growing up and, what got me to where I am. I said most of that in 2011. So for the people that are here, I don't have a lot of new material. There's only so much you could say about when you grow up. But, I grew up in Yonkers, lower middle class family. Yonkers was really a town of immigrants, Irish Americans, Italian Americans, people from Europe. We had a very quiet life. In winter we went to school. We did our homework at night, unless it snowed in the winter. It seemed like it snowed every day in the winter. You guys ever realize that? Maybe there's really something to global warming. But I would have my nose pressed up the window every night, looking at the lamppost, praying for snow, so I didn't have to do my homework that night. It was unbelievable. But every Saturday, we'd go to St. Mary's, which was about 3 miles away, to make confession. In those days, the priest sat in the middle, and we each sat on both sides. We'd always swear we would, plug our ears and not listen to what the other person said. And, on the way home, nobody plugged their ears, and we'd all kid each other about what we heard in the confession booth. It was unbelievable. On Sunday morning, we'd all go back, take that 3-mile walk and receive communion. And then we'd walk, down to a local soda fountain, have a vanilla or chocolate Bloody Mary, and I know. Bloody Mary sounds better. And then we'd go home for the amazing Sunday dinner. And, Mario and Lydia, you guys have phenomenal stories. When I walked up the stairs, we lived in a 3-family house. My grandmother lived on the 3rd floor. My cousin, my aunts, my uncles lived on the 1st floor. And we lived on the... When I walked up the stairs, the smell of that gravy was beyond comprehension. So I'm sorry, Mario. My aunt had you beat. And Lydia, she... before she passed away, she gave me and my wife, Lori, a few tips. We haven't even come close, right? Unbelievable what. But anyway, so, the summer was, great. We didn't know about the Hamptons. We didn't know about the Jersey Shore. We didn't know about Newport. We didn't know about Cape Cod. We just played stickball on the street, And, two sewers was a home run. My cousin, by the way, who lived in our house, we were on the team together, and Marguerite was the best baseball player on the whole team. But, my father worked 3 jobs. I never saw him. And the highlight of my summer was when he would bring me to work with him. He was the superintendent of a Sherwin-Williams paint factory. And he'd give me 1 week during the summer. I'd go, and we'd open bills and take inventory. He was a great guy. Anyway, as a reward, he would take me to the Canal Street Diner. And, you know, every year we'd have, you know, Canal Street Diner back then had tablecloths and silverware, and it was great. And, you know, everybody has defining moments in their life. One day with him was a defining moment. I was looking around in the diner, and I said, what are all these guys with these beautiful suits and ties and white shirts, crisp, you know, who are they? He said, they're business people. And I said, what is a business person? He said, a business person, they build and manage companies, and they're very successful. And I said, Dad, that's what I'm gonna do. He said, well, if you wanna do that, you have to work hard, you have to get great grades, and you have to go to college. And I said, that's what I'm gonna do. So while my friends were reading comic books, every night I was reading annual reports. Or before I did my homework, I'd open up the New York Telegram and read the business section. And it was unbelievable. So I worked hard. Finally, I graduated high school. I was ready to go to college. I applied to Manhattan, St. John's, and Iona. And my father told me, Robert, you can go wherever you can afford to go. He had no money to send me to college. And I said, well, that's fine. I was working at a day shop, all I could do that. So I picked Iona, not only because that's what I could afford, but Iona, to me, had the best business program in the entire tri-state area. Just a great, I know there were Irish Christian brothers and everybody else was Jesuits, but that's where I wanted to go. And let me tell you, my first year at Iona, it was like Charles Dickens. It was the best of times and the worst of times. My first semester, I partied like a rock star. You know, there was no, you saw on the video there, LaPenta Student Union. There was no student union back then. There was the Beachmont Tavern. And we had a blast. It was great. And what happened was, after my first semester, I got my grades, and they were 1.5 GPA. And Iona sent me a nice letter saying that if you don't get your CUME GPA up to 2, you are no longer coming on our campus. I said, this is not a good thing. So there was no more Beachmont Tavern, there was a library, it was boring, it was horrible. And the next semester, I got a 4.0. And the president called me in and he said, what did you do? I've never seen anything like this. And I said, you know, I mean, what I did was, and it was really a tremendous lesson in life, if you want to succeed, you have to put your head down, you have to work hard, you have to have passion, and never take your eye off the finish line. And that's what I did. And that's a lesson for all of us. So I graduated college. I went to, back then, a Big 8 accounting firm, which is now a Big 4. I was in Haskins and Sells. It's now Deloitte and Touche. There was no Italian on Wall Street. There was no partner in an accounting firm. And if you wanted to find an Italian running a big company in the United States or anywhere, you had to go to Italy. There was just nobody there. We made tremendous strides. You know, we've come a long way, and we're very proud of it. So I went to Wall Street. After 5 years, I went into private industry. I spent my whole career in aerospace and defense. Started with a company called L'Oreal, $20 million. We built it to $8 billion. When the wall came down in Germany and the Cold War was over, our chairman, who was a phenomenally smart, great leader, Bernard Schwartz, decided he wanted to get out of aerospace and defense. And one of the companies we bought was Ford Aerospace. They made satellites. So he went off to the satellite business. My colleague, Frank Lanza, who used to be a member of the Columbus Citizen Foundation, and I went to Lockheed Martin and ran a $15 billion defense electronics business for him. When Desert Storm happened, it really was, eye-opening for everybody in the United States. We had all of the weapons you could possibly need to defeat any enemy. The problem was they weren't connected. So when Saddam Hussein fired a Scud missile, we would have a satellite pick up that launch. They would transmit the data back to NORAD. NORAD would calculate where that was going to go, when it was going to get there. We then transmit that back to Riyadh. Riyadh would transmit it back to the Patriot missile range. Well, that only took about 2.5 minutes, but that missile was about 1.5 feet off the ground by the time we figured out how to shoot it down. So that was the beginning and the vision for L3 Communications. So myself, Frank Lanza, and Lehman Brothers bought back 10 of our divisions, and the reason it was called L3 Communications was we were going to connect the battlefield. Satellites, aircraft, tanks, soldiers, missiles, we connected it all. So we started at $500 million, and we grew that in 8 years to $9 billion. The stock went from 5 to 180, and Lehman Brothers made $800 million on a $25 million investment. Unfortunately, they invested it in bad real estate. And so the problem is my other partner, Frank Lanza, he passed away. Lehman is gone. I'm the only L left. And that's a little scary. That's a little scary. L3 Communications today is the 6th largest defense contractor in the United States and the 9th largest in the world. So I'm really proud of that company and what we've been able to achieve. When 9/11 came, and again, 15 years ago, it was another epiphany, another vision. We spend $600 billion a year in aerospace and defense, ships, planes, satellites, guns, missiles, whatever. These morons with $25,000 and fake IDs created the biggest attack on U.S. soil since Pearl Harbor. Unbelievable. That became the vision for L1 Identity Solutions. L1, I was the only L, and we created a company based on biometrics that was going to figure out who you were, where you came from, and where you're able to go. And over 5 years, we became the largest ID company in the world with biometric facial recognition, fingerprints, and iris. It was great. In fact, one of the things I'm proud of, we sold that company for $1.8 billion after about 6 years to our biggest competitor, $17 billion French aerospace company. And a U.S. company recently just bought that back from that French company. It was a great. But one of the things I'm proud of, there are 1 million cameras around New York. All of our software, our facial recognition software, is used to identify the images on those cameras. We go to FBI databases, driver's licenses, whatever, and half of the people that are identified on those videos use our software. So that's unbelievable. So I've had a lot of success, a lot of luck, and that success has given me the gift to be able to give back. And I think Angelo mentioned that I'm now in the process of helping Iona build a a new business school. To have my name or my family's name attached to a school where 30,000, 40,000 students are going to get an education is just mind-boggling. I love St. Jude. There are a bunch of charities. But, this night is really not about, it's really more about the Columbus Citizen Foundation. Every dollar of profit tonight goes towards providing capable, young Italian Americans the ability to go to a high school of their choice or a college of their choice and to follow their dreams. And education has never been more important than it is today. I always say, education provides freedom. It gives you the freedom. It opens doors. and allows you to go through them to pursue your dreams. The Columbus Citizens Foundation over the past 25 years has probably put 3,000 students through scholarships, high schools, Georgetown, whatever college they wanted to go to. It's amazing what they've been able to do, and I really think we ought to give them a big round of applause. Well, tonight is also about being, an Italian American. And I think we all know how proud we are of what Italians and Italians American have contributed to arts and sciences, medicine, whatever. Michelangelo, you can go on to Galileo, and you go on and on, Fermi. It's amazing and how proud we should be to be Italian Americans. They've really done, and I'm prejudiced, of course, but I think they're number one in their contributions to all of those disciplines. Now, there's one name that I haven't mentioned, I think is going to be on the list soon. He may be on it right now. This year, Lori and I had the amazing fortune of being able to go to Tuscany to attend a private concert for Andrea Bocelli. And it was just a phenomenal night. I mean, we were in a private concert. He was getting ready to go on tour for Le Cirque. It was last dress rehearsal. After the concert, we went to his house. And there was his mother, his uncle. He loved horses. He was on a horse at 2 o'clock in the morning. His mother was drinking wine, or they were having pasta and smoking it too. The Italians really know how to live. It was unbelievable. So, he had a three-piece band that was going around from table to table. So they came to our table, and we sang Jumpin' Jack Flash and Nights in White Satins. I mean, we didn't sing La Traviata. And, he knew all the words to those songs. How many people here have sang with Andrea Bocelli? Lori, raise your hand. It was a phenomenal night. Anyway, I thought I'd end with just showing you a few slides and a 1 minute, his last song in that concert was Nessun Dorma. And, I just thought you'd appreciate it. That was up in the Tuscan Hills, 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we went to his house. We got home at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, Laura. It was unbelievable, a phenomenal night. So is there some way? We haven't tried. That's his house in Litigio. That's Andrea's house in Litigio. And this is him riding. He loves horses like I do. And he has 4 or 5 stalls. And that horse he rode in the Gladiator. And his sons were there. I mean, you got to see these kids. I mean, they are unbelievable. Anyway, this is us with Andrea. This is Lori with him. And, we asked him to come tonight. And he said, I would love to come, but I'm going to be in Brazil on his concert. So, I mean, that would have been a phenomenal thing. Anyway, and this is, the concert was Le Cirque. They had these images all around. And just picture, 12 o'clock high in the mountains in Tuscany. It was unbelievable. And let's see the last one. I don't know if it's going to work. Nessun Dorma. Thank you very much.